if you're watching this video, it's either you're relapsing really bad or you've made some progress, but you still need further motivation or further tips and tricks. I can help you in either case. I used to have a serious case of porn and masturbation addiction. Years ago, I cured myself through conducting research and studies, and I've been able to apply my findings, and I also documented my findings because I wanted to come back as the good hero to bring you my findings, the Holy Grail, so that you can change your life. Remember, like Eminem says in his song, I'm Not Afraid, and he says, I did it for me, but subliminally, I did it for you. That's how I saw it. I was doing it for me, but subliminally, I was doing it for you because I wanted to come back with the information, practical insights. If you are new to my channel, subscribe. If you are returning but have not subscribed, do so right now, please. Thank you. Perfection is the enemy of progress. On this journey of nofap and semen retention, we must not strive for perfection. What we must strive for, however, is progress. Because progress is measurable. Progress is scalable. We can track cause and effect in progress. We can see where you were 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, and where you are today. Perfection has no such benchmark. So I want you to change your mind and take this new perspective of progress. If you can look at 3 months ago and see where you were and where you are now, that's all that matters. Whether you relapsed yesterday or not, you will have made some progress. On this nofap semen retention journey, relapsing is inevitable. The reason for that is your brain is not accustomed to not fapping. It's not accustomed to holding all that semen in and sitting on all that energy, especially if you have been doing it for a long time. Like I did this thing for 23 years. It was not easy for my brain to just sit and not open that computer and watch porn and then masturbate. It wasn't easy. It was a learning process. You got to understand, we are now retraining the brain to learn not to fap. We are retraining the brain to learn to keep the new energy. So relapsing in that process is inevitable because there are a lot of things that you don't know yet. There are a lot of tricks that your mind plays on you that you don't know yet. But it's through relapsing you will learn them. It's through relapsing it will come to you. And then you will be empowered. You will be in control. Nofap and semen retention is a new skill that you're learning. And because of that, as such, you're going to fail at first. Every new skill presents a learning curve. And it also presents challenges. You're like a baby learning to walk. But now you're on the floor. Well, depending on where you are, you can gauge that. You can measure that. If you're on the floor, you haven't even begun to crawl. You have to crawl first, baby. You have to crawl first. Then try to stand up. Then try to take that first 1-2 steps. And then eventually start walking. And you're going to fall on your butt. And you're going to get back up. And you're going to continue. Okay? My goal here is to change your perspective about relapsing. Now, I'm talking about genuine, sincere relapse. I'm not talking about you bullshitting yourself that you just relapsed when really you knew damn well that you were doing it. It wasn't like you were overwhelmed. I'm talking about relapses where you're so overwhelmed that you couldn't possibly make any other choice. That's the relapse I'm talking about. The one that you're still bullshitting yourself, you're still playing yourself, and you go like, yeah, yeah, I'm relapsing. Look at me, everybody, I'm relapsing. Oh, yeah, I'm relapsing. No, I'm talking about genuine and sincere relapse. You are learning a new skill. As such, you are bound to fail at first, but you can make progress. We're gonna keep going back to the idea of progress, because I said progress is manageable, it's measurable and scalable. You can look at it, you can measure it, and you can take it up a notch. You can turn up the intensity. Okay? Progress is what we want, not perfection. We want progress. We want to measure and see a big difference between 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and today. That's what I did. It took me years to do it. It doesn't have to take you years, because I've come back with the Holy Grail. I've come back with the research. We can ask some questions to determine if there has been any progress in you or not. And I have 3 questions, and those were questions that I used personally. Remember, all these tips, all these notes, I'm taking them right out of my journals, right out of my documentations, because I documented this whole journey. As a researcher, as a teacher, as a scholar, I wanted to come back and teach. I wanted to come back and put that information in your hand, because I know it has the potential to change your life, because it changed mine, and it also changed the lives of the many other men who have gotten off porn addiction. Question number 1. Are you learning? Are you learning? Do you feel like you have learned something since you've started on this journey, despite the relapses in between? One way to measure if you have learned something. Have you been able to link cause to effect? That is, the day that you relapse, were you able to link the cause that led to the relapse? For example, here's what the cause might be. You were out with some friends, you guys were drinking, you had a few drinks, there were some chicks around. They were half naked, you know how women do these days, and that was a stimulation. You felt aroused, but you were somewhat tipsy. You couldn't mentally really get a grip of yourself, but you were being aroused. In fact, you had some desire. Your mind told you, man, I can tap that ass. But of course, you're not going to tap that ass right now. But you can tap that ass relapsing on porn. But your brain is not going to tell you to relapse. Oh, this is what we've been waiting for, to relapse. No, it's a trick. You're gonna get the stimulus. You're going to hear the temptation or the suggestion, but the suggestion will be so faint that if you're not fully present, you cannot catch it. And that's why we talk about progress. Through progress, you'll be able to catch it. So the cause is, when you relapse that day, are you able to say, oh dang, okay, so I was somewhat tipsy, and I kept looking at all those girls, and I kept feeling aroused, and images about watching porn came to mind, but I overlooked it. I just left it alone. I believe that's what led to my relapse. By the time I got home, I felt so overwhelmed, I couldn't help myself. I relapsed. That's learning. You're learning that. Next time, you're either going to decide that you don't want to put yourself in that environment with such level of stimulus, or if you find yourself in such an environment again, when the suggestion comes in your mind, you will hear it, or you will decide ahead of time, oh, I know what's gonna come next. My brain is going to suggest for me to watch porn, and I'm deciding right now I'm not going to do it. That's true learning. You are able to link back causes to effect. You are the scientist of your life. I like to teach in my coaching practice. You are the scientist of your life. You are linking causes to effects. You are the philosopher of your life, and your job is to find that philosopher's stone, is to turn water into wine, is to transmute lead into gold. In that sense, you're taking things that escaped your awareness now, and you capture them in your awareness, and you're using them to your advantage. That's learning. So if you can answer those questions, if you can say, yes, I've had that, then you have learned. Question number 2, are you getting stronger? So when the suggestion to relapse comes, when the images flash in front of your eyes, how long does it take to actually relapse? Do you just go right away, or does it take a lot of stimuli and a lot of suggestions to actually get you to relapse? That means, in that sense, you are getting stronger. If it's taking you now more stimuli and more push, and you can resist longer and to a greater intensity than you used to, that means you are getting stronger. We can measure that, and that's what we want to pay attention to. If we can measure those things, there's progress, and progress is what we want, because that's what's going to get you on your journey to NoFap, all period. Number 3, question 3, is the distance between relapse getting longer and longer? Is the distance between relapse getting longer and longer? If you used to relapse every 2 days, if now you're relapsing every 3, 4, 5 days, you're making progress, my brother. You are making progress, which means question 2, you're getting stronger, which means question 1, you're learning, you're able to link the causes to the effects. Now you're becoming a stronger man. You're getting into your power. Your willpower is getting stronger. You are now in more control. So if the distance, if the time, that's what I mean, between relapse is getting longer and longer, my brother, you're making progress. If you used to relapse every 3 days, now it's every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and it takes something major to get you to relapse, like a major depressive state, like losing your job, your girlfriend cheated on you, some emotional issues in your life, whatever the case might be. These are numerous. If it takes longer in between, then you have made progress. So the goal, in conclusion, the goal of NoFap and semen retention is to rewire your brain to desire porn less and less, and eventually at all. It should be your goal. And really, this is the goal. I'm putting a course together. That's the goal. If you look at all the guys who talk about their journey, and they have come out, they are now healed, well, the goal was to rewire the brain. If you understand the very basic premise of porn addiction, you will know that the brain likes the dopamine, and as such, it keeps creating stronger and stronger neural connections in the brain associated with porn. So as you stop the activity, those neural connections get weaker and weaker, and whatever you're now practicing overrides the old synapses and the old connections. You now have new connections in your brain. That's the whole rewiring process. You're teaching your brain to forget about porn, to stop focusing on porn, to stop being so damn fixated on wanting that level of dopamine. The goal is only possible through progress. And remember, progress is measurable and scalable. You can see it. You can link causes to effects. You can see if you are now taking longer to relapse. If that's what's happening, I guarantee you, within 5 months, 6 months, and a year, you'll be out. You ain't gotta go through all the self-hating, self-pity, being sad, jumping on YouTube and creating videos about, man, I just relapsed and I feel so bad. Look, that's not gonna help nobody. Feeling so bad is not going to help you. We want scientific information. We want information that can make you stronger. We want information that can help you to make progress. That's what we want. We don't want emotions in this game, because emotions are only a setup to get you to relapse again. I hope you understand that. If you are one who gets sad, depressed, down, and pity yourself and commiserate with other guys about your relapses, change your perspective and take the perspective of this video. Focus on progress, because that's the only way you can achieve the goal of rewiring your brain, for your brain not to want that porn and masturbation ever again, but slowly but surely. Until next time, stay in your kingdom. You are kings. Subscribe, please, and share this video with a brother out there. Thank you.